Hey guys, how the hell are you? It has been a long time since we've done one of these. This is a rebiased gear review where we take a look at some of the gear of yore and see if my opinion on it has changed at all. And today we are going to take a look at the Randall Warhead. But first, some quick specs on this unit. This is the first signature head that was issued in the name of Dimebag Darrell. It is 300 watts of solid state power, 2 independent channels on here, a clean channel and a lead channel, 9-band graphic EQ. We've got 16 onboard effects settings, master volume, the effects level. On the back of the amp, it's pretty straightforward. We've got a power input, a power switch, send and return for the effects loop, and 2 speaker outputs, and that's really all we've got. So I'm not going to sit here and belabor the lore and the rumor and the conjecture surrounding Dimebag and his relationship with Randall at the time, his relationship with this particular model of his signature amp. There's a lot of videos from a lot of better YouTubers than I that go much more in depth into that. I highly recommend just do a quick YouTube search. Check out some of the most popular videos that come up on this head. You're going to get a lot of that information. What instead I will tell you about is my own personal relationship with this head. I have played through this multiple times in my youth. Occasionally one would just sort of happen into the local music stores. There was a fanatical following for Pantera in my hometown where I grew up in, almost to the point where it may have been a little bit ridiculous. And you saw a whole bunch of these local guitar players, these local bands that were rocking a full stack of these or maybe a couple full stacks of these and that swore up and down, oh, it's the most amazing thing ever. Dimebag uses these, Dimebag uses these. And if you've read up enough on this thing, you know that may not have been the most true statement. And I know that every single time I plugged into one of these things, I was just awash with disappointment. I'm like, I cannot get this thing to sound good no matter what I try. Sometimes it would be on top of a Randall Warhead cab. Sometimes it would be on top of some other cab that just happened to be at that music store. And it always sounded like ass to me. And nothing I would do would make it sound good. At this point now, it's probably been at least a good 20 maybe more years since I've actually plugged into one of these things. So have I learned a thing or 20? Can I make this thing sound good? So the first thing you're going to hear is you're going to hear me plugging into this thing and twisting some knobs, raising some of these sliders up and down a little bit. We want to hear if this thing is going to produce a sound that is any good whatsoever, let alone if it can ape the Dimebag tone at all. So with that, let's twist some knobs. fizz. Just to mitigate that a little bit. Okay, and now that we've had a moment to go through the knobs and everything, let me show you how I got this thing to sound after sitting with this thing for about a week and a half, and I somehow managed to get a pretty Dimebag-ish tone out of it. Here's the entire signal chain that I used in order to capture a sort of Dimebag-ish tone. This guitar is my Framus Pantera 2. It has Lawler DB humbuckers in it with Meg pots. Very important. I had a very, very metal-focused rail humbucker in the bridge. All the accoutrement you would typically expect of a dime-ish kind of guitar with the Floyd, the mahogany, etc., etc. This was going into a Pepper's Dirty Tree. From there, going into the head with these settings that you see right here. And from there, going into a 2-notes captor and inside 2-notes wall of sound. My main cabinet that I was using was a 2 Madsen Marshall impulse response. So 2 Madsen, producer extraordinaire of bands such as The Haunted. Anyways, enough of me talking about it. Here is my attempt at a Pantera-ish tone. So with that, my final thought, this is an amplifier that requires a lot of patience and a lot of time. The controls, the sliders, everything, super responsive to literally the most minute, smallest of adjustments. So tweakability, it's there, but damn, you really have to experiment with this thing almost well beyond the point of frustration before you finally have something just click for you. One thing I did notice in tweaking the knobs is that this thing had some pretty interesting top end sizzle to it. Something that I feel, if you were wanting to use this in a mix with some other stuff, could probably be blended with some other heads to make some pretty interesting tones. So in that regard, this thing does have some uses beyond just tweaking it until the point of frustration to try to ape Dimebag's sound. But I have to be honest with you, I think at this point I'm ready to call it. There's enough functionality concerns, at least with this one in particular, enough lack of versatility on this thing. I just don't feel comfortable saying that you need this in your possession, you need to have one of these. It's interesting, it's a novelty, but that's really kind of all it is. By all accounts, there's other amps out there that have done the Dimebag thing better. I think it's a dud a little bit, truthfully. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please remember, like this video, subscribe to this channel. There's more metal and guitar oriented content to come. And as always, remember, take what you do seriously. Do not take yourselves too seriously.